Hey guys, this is Doug Ross, and I wanted to share with you a little project I've been working on related to data visualization. I'm calling it First Person Shooter BI, or Business Intelligence, and the idea is to make a 3D visual model of data immersive, and by that I mean using the tools that a first-person shooter game would employ, such as a rendering engine and interactivity. And for example, I'm going to zoom through data right now and be able to pivot on the data and zoom back out, rotate on a different axis, on this, in this case, looking down at the z-axis, looking down, which is green, and looking at x-axis data. And the idea, it was just my impression, having looked at some of the tools that are out there related to visualization. There's a great programming language called R, for example. It can create wonderful three-dimensional models, but they're static in nature. And my thought was, if you could actually allow interactivity and immersion in the model, you would be able to glean new insights and maybe some new intelligence related to the data. And so what I've done here is demonstrate that using a couple of different libraries. I'm using D3, the visualization library, and a great game engine, which is called Babylon, an open source JavaScript engine. And this is all open source, and it is freely licensed and pure thin client. The idea for a researcher is they could take a particular outlier, and I'll click on one outlier to the left, and be able to examine the detail, in this case, the detail behind a particular record. This is a Caucasian female, age 53, and in this case, with the clinical trial data, this is just mocked up data. She had a outcome after 3 years of mortality. And just to explain the data a little bit, the mocked up data is meant to represent clinical outcomes, and that is the dispersion across the x-axis, and you can also see colors for each of the nodes, and that is meant to represent ethnicity for each of the people in the trial. And the actual height, the y-axis could be related to BMI or height and weight, and so forth. So there's a variety of ways to represent these variables that are codependent, and be able to hopefully glean new insights from the data that otherwise might have been hidden in a static model that is two-dimensional, even though it's trying to represent 3D data. The feeling being that, or my notion is that if you really want to allow 3D data to be rendered, it would be helpful to do so in a first-person shooter type game. And again, this is just a demo, but it's meant to hopefully show enough of the promise of what I'm attempting to create, which is kind of a more generic library along the lines of a D3 that does combine the game engine capability in it. In any event, that's what I have so far. Certainly feel free to email me with any questions or thoughts on this. I'd love to hear them. And that's all I have for now. Maybe I will post an additional update on this as things develop. Have a great one, and I will talk to you soon.